Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host, Dylan Cooper, with our constant co-host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
Guys, we are here to finish drawing out the Unit of Death, Part 1. Well, this
Volume.
is Part 3, Volume 1.
That joke is going to keep going on.
Yeah, wait till we go to the second book.
Part two of volume two, subsection C.
Verse 5.
Yeah,
It's
it's
funny,
not
we had
gonna-
a comment on one of our YouTube video that we're doing a really good job of making one video 3.
Yeah. Oh, wait, this is the second book.
That's the second one.
My bad. I'm just. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Ah. Oh, yeah, we definitely are. I mean, it's not even, look, and this is the truth. We read about 200 pages a week, and I think that's a very fair amount.
I agree.
If we were
Sometimes
getting
it's a struggle
paid,
to even get that.
we were getting paid to do this, yeah, we might.
Yeah, if I could quit my day job and just read, do I like this more than my actual job? Huh.
That's
My
a
actual job pays way better, and it's never made me want to shove anything down my throat until I couldn't breathe anymore. Nor
I'd
I
do
just walk away.
I'd do this full time. The only thing I'd be concerned about, like if I had to do this full time, like if I was getting paid, I feel like I'd have to like kind of suck the GW dick, and I don't know if I'd want to do that.
Yeah, I don't like them enough to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to suck up to a company that I
Don't
respect
believe.
very little.
And let's be real, I don't feel that way for any company.
Exactly.
But I'll suck my peen.
I'll suck my own. I'll tell you, like, also as we've read through this, like I really respect the complicated nature of writing a book. However, it's also like I'm gonna criticize things of it. We obviously have, and that's I've just been heading straight down the nature of criticism recently. But it's
Yeah.
because like they're worse now than they have been in the past, and it's I think
Well, what this book does too is it's almost like a slap in the face
mhm,
from everything we've been reading for this to be originally. This is supposed to be a two-part book.
mhm.
We just finished part one. And it was first off, it's a slog that accomplished literally nothing.
Yeah, mhm.
And it's a 600-page book that did nothing.
650.
Like they could have cut this to 300. I'll be generous. I'll say 300 pages. And so the next 300 pages, probably with everything else that's in part two, because
Yeah,
I imagine part two is just more new shit that we're just like, God damn, what
yeah.
is happening?
And it's kind of has the opposite effect of movies too, because when you think about it, like uh, you see a lot of movies that go from one book to three movies. You had The Hobbit, you had The Hunger Games. I think there was another one I can't remember. But what you see from that is like books in general have a ridiculous amount of content in them.
Yeah,
So it's a lot more feasible of Deathly Hollows Part 1 too, right? So it's a lot more feasible to kind of split that in half. Like, and since a Harry Potter, like Deathly Hollows is a pretty big book. It's a pretty
yeah,
significant sized book. And even when they split out into two movies, if you talk to anyone who reads the book, there was a lot that was missed on it. Like a whole story about, Hagrid and all the stuff that he was doing. Um, and the whole story about the elves, house elves, defense force, or whatever was going on. But the whole thing is like when you reverse that and you say, how do we take a story that can be told in one movie and turn it into three books? That has a complete opposite effect, and it's
yeah,
so terribly drawn out.
yeah. Well, we've started, but before we get even fucking deeper in the pit of misery, check us out on Discord. Find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. Email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube at the Heresy Lodge. It is holiday season. Buy yourself some wonderful Heresy Lodge merch. Give it for yourself, your parents, your significant other, your children. Everyone needs Heresy Lodge merch. If you don't have it, you're fucking missing out. You're a goddamn loser.
The great grandchildren, the great grandparents,
Yeah, everyone fucking wants it. It's great.
cousins, uncles, former roommate.
Probably. If they
Yeah.
don't have it, they're fucking losers.
I was gonna ask you, because you have the account information, and I was gonna ask you if my fiance purchased a hat for me for Christmas.
I don't know. I can look.
No, that would be so mean. I think she probably did, but we'll see. If not, I'll be disappointed, and I'll just get one for myself.
Oh, I was getting a new wife.
Perfect.
Gavin, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking. I went to a fancy wine tasting shop. Like it sells bottles of wine. They have little tastings, but it wasn't a vineyard. Like it was like a wine shop. And I got this. It was called
Tasting room?
Orion from Italy. It's nothing, I don't know. Like it's hard to talk about wine because it's not like craft beer, like a brewery you would know, because there's like a billion wineries.
Yeah, but
And
there's not a billion breweries for sure.
I mean, like
I'm sure everyone has heard of Shell Creek Brewing.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you can talk about a lot of breweries, and a decent amount of people would know about it. I could live in Napa and have like never heard of a lot of the wineries in Napa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, like, there's a bunch of big ones, right? Like
Yeah,
Meridian, like Oliver. Everyone here knows what fucking Oliver is.
yeah. But that's because like Oliver's less saturated.
Hey man, our one
Area.
Italian listener might be on the edge of their fucking seat right now. Like, what fucking vineyard is it? Did we
Okay,
share that wine?
and I also don't even know what vineyard it is. This is
I
how
also don't even know what this word is.
it
What is this
says.
wine?
Fem. It's in Italian. It's not. It's I don't know. It's like I don't know if it's actually Italian or if it's like some person pretending to be Italian. Famiglia, Falvo, Mazzaria, Lavelli, Orion, 2022, Salento, Indicazione, Georgia Graphica, Tipica, Primavito.
The best part is that's actually just English and Gavin can't read.
I'm pretty sure the name of the wine is Orion, and I'm drinking it as every wine connoisseur does out of a fucking Hard Rock Hurricane glass because there's no better way to drink fancy wine.
Fair enough.
It's pretty good. I mean, like you go to a fancy wine shop and you try wine, but like
Fancy wine shop. It's just a fucking tasting room.
I mean, tasting, I guess, but a tasting room you think I'd be like at a winery. This was like a shop
There's
that
just like
sold.
standstill tasting rooms.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Fucking,
I
it's a
think those
fancy
are.
goddamn wine shop.
I
This
think
shit
those
is
are.
revolutionary.
That's kind of fancy. I feel like you're gonna have a whole shop dedicated to selling wine that you didn't make. That's pretty fancy. I don't know, but it tastes like I don't know. It tastes like dry wine, honestly. Like when I'm kind of
Give me
tipsy,
the notes. I need the notes here.
they're pretty far down.
What's on the nose? What's on the tongue?
They're pretty far down there. I can't.
Clearly, you whipped out the normal wine glasses for this.
It smells like a Hard Rock Hurricane. I don't know. Which
Connoisseur, level 5.
when I opened the wine bottle, it kind of smelled like I got like sometimes you get like memories from smells.
Mm-hmm.
I got this like weird memory of like sitting by a pool eating a ham and cheese sandwich.
I don't know why. I was expecting like something super dumb. Like in my past life, I was on a mountain overseeing the beautiful landscape of some far off land.
No. Eating a ham
I
and cheese
was eating a
sandwich.
grilled cheese sandwich next to the pool.
That's what it smelled like, I guess. I don't know.
And
But
that
yeah,
pool was actually just a pothole filled with water.
I'm getting notes of it. It reminds me of northeastern United States, October
20,
3rd, on the
2003.
hill, the wind's blowing east, overlooking a small quaint farm. That's what it tastes like. How about you?
Goddamn
What are you
beautiful.
drinking?
I am drinking. I picked this for a double reason. First one is for the holidays. And I'll tell you the second one in a second. But this is called Fistmas.
Fistmas?
Fistmas from Revolution Brewing. And the
Mm-hmm.
second reason is because I feel like this book was fisting me this whole
That's what
time.
you were gonna say. Uh,
Fistmas.
okay. Can I get into my number one complaint about this book? And if I haven't talked about it yet, I read it in the later part of the book, and I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, I'm ready.
You know how there's the chapters that are titled fragments, and it's just
Mhm.
like random shit that's happening on
Is
Terra.
this about Narek?
It's about Narek.
Yeah, what the fuck? I had the same feeling.
Like you get this fucking thing where Narek wakes up on a word bearer ship at the end of what is it, Old Earth?
Yes.
And his goal is to kill Lorgar, but he comes down to the planet and he's hunting Lorgar. And that makes no sense for a multitude of reasons, like a plethora of reasons. And it's also like, why?
Yeah.
We know for a fact that the word bearers were there above anchor at Olenor when Lorgar attempted to assassinate Horus. And then Horus bitch slapped him. He ran away, and the word bearers decided to stay. And that's when they went with Horus to Terra.
Yep.
So how the fuck did Narek end up on Terra if he got transported to a word bearer ship like 15 books before that ever happened? So you
Yeah.
would
Also,
imagine,
why even Terra?
exactly, you would imagine that Narek, who wants to kill Lorgar, would be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to go to Terra. I'm going to follow Lorgar because I want to kill him.
Yeah. Or been like hunting down like Erebus or Corfarion, assuming Lorgar would be with them.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to think that like Narek wouldn't know that Lorgar is not on Terra because I feel like everyone knows, like every single person knows that Lorgar is not on Terra.
Where's Lorgar? And I was like, what? He's
Yeah,
been
exactly.
gone.
I'm here to kill Lorgar, and like every word bearer is like, bro, like he's not here.
Oh, that's kind of the perpetual storyline too. Where's
Yeah,
the Emperor? Oh, he's not here. What?
there's a lot of that in the series. You know, the lines like, "Where's Conrad Kurz?"
He's actually, I'm over here.
He's been
And the
there the
lion
whole
leaves.
time. He's never left the spot that he was previously. Why are you here?
Still drinking his Mai Tai. I was like, where the fuck is the lion? I told him to meet me here at noon.
He's gets
That was
so
4 days
lost.
ago.
Lorgar literally is like, I'm getting out of here. I'm not going to Terra. Narek's on Terra, and he's like, where's Lorgar? I don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's so depressing because
Also,
Narek,
why was he even in the character list if he was just a part of a random fragment?
a paragraph. It's
Yeah.
literally a paragraph. And it kills
Why?
me because he is probably one of my top 10 favorite characters in the entire horse
He's
series.
great.
And that's how you're gonna use him?
Yeah.
Why would he even? We've got it doesn't make any sense because like Narek is the person who wants to kill Lorgar. Why would he even drop ship into Terra? Like if he's in a ship, he should probably just be like, "This isn't really my deal."
Yeah. Also,
I don't.
like, how did he the fuck did he even get to Terra?
Last we saw, he just got teleported to some word bearer ship. So
Yeah.
unless we're
Yeah, because
meant
he
to
had
believe
fucking what's his face was like pushed
Eldrad,
him into a portal and was like, there you go.
yeah, unless we're meant to believe that like Eldrad teleported him there at that time, but that doesn't make a lot of sense because unless like Eldrad also teleported him through time. But at the same time, it's like, why would Narek drop onto Terra? You know,
Yeah. Where's Eldrad?
he actually is mentioned in the first chapter of the second book.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm sure it's gonna be something stupid.
He's watching some Harlequin dance.
All right, cool. I get to see him watching porn.
Right on, Eldrad. He's over there like fucking suckers. This is
This
way
shit's
cooler.
hot. I've been waiting for this for fucking years.
So that was a very frustrating moment so far. But we also have this whole concept of I want to touch on another frustrating moment or frustrating sequence, which is Loken's story.
What story? Because it's the man. First off, I hate how that's the end of this book because it was so fucking stupid.
Oh, the very end when he
Yeah,
walks onto the vengeful spirit.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, like when when everyone teleports up, my first initial thought was like, this is interesting because I would expect a lot more people to be there.
yeah,
And when you read the original lore, which Dan is like in love with, there's Imperial soldiers, like Imperial Guard on the
yeah.
ship that are fighting with the Emperor. And when they went up with just like Space Marines and custodians, it was like, I mean, that makes sense. And maybe we're going to get a completely different story. That was the first time I was like, oh, we got a completely different story going on. And then I feel like, based off of what just happened, like Loken, there's no mention of Loken in the previous past. I mean, there is, but he's not in the siege.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they could do anything with him. There's so many possibilities. And they put him onto the Vengeful Spirit. I'm like, okay.
The whole thing of them even going up to the vengeful spirit is the dumbest fucking concept to me. I get that that's apparently the old lore, right?
That's the story. Yeah.
But it's so fucking stupid. It makes no sense. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you leave your
You're
fortified position?
mhm.
Even I don't, yes, their armies are coming at you, but also I would assume if say I took a ship up, they're gonna shoot it down. Instead, I'm gonna teleport thousands of people, which we know teleportation has like a
Iffy. Invented by orcs.
we'll say 70% win rate.
Yeah.
So you're gonna lose about 30% of your army just because they just fucking didn't teleport. And this Dorn just disappears into a desert for a billion years, apparently, where he's talking to Corn.
We'll get to that.
You have Sanguinius, he apparently made it to the ship, and he's like the smartest person in the world. He knows the entire ship because he was there before.
The only person we know for a fact actually made it to the ship is Valdor because he stabbed the ship and it told him where he was.
This is fair. He's the only one.
Uh,
Like, I just don't. It's stupid. It's
so
a
with
dumb concept.
Loken, I'm kind of glad that Dan hasn't gone down this route yet, but I fear that he's setting himself up for it. Loken spent the entire book like teleporting around,
Yeah.
right? And I immediately was like, this is so terrible because basically what you're doing is saying, like, time and space don't exist. Therefore, any of my characters can be anywhere they want at any time because that's what the warp does. A lot of these writers love to just bring the warp into reality because it makes writing easier. It really does. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to like worry about how is one person going to get from point A to point B or how does somebody die in a tangible way. It's kind of silly. But Logan eventually makes it to this library, and you can tell the way that I read it. I had this like envisionment where it's like Dan started writing this book having no fucking idea what he planned to do with Logan, and he just keeps teleporting him in the hopes that once he figures it out, Logan will just get there. And he ends up in this library reading, and I'm like, he still doesn't know what he's gonna do with Logan.
Nope.
Now Logan is reading books. And at the end of the whole thing, they find some very powerful books. that does, and they do some very powerful things and whatnot. And then Logan looks over and he sees a door that leads to a hatch to the vengeful spirit. And I'm like, okay, I think Dan has finally kind of thought or figured out what he may or may not do with Logan.
Yeah.
It was like a journey this whole time of like like what am I even going to do with this guy? He's not in the original lore. Like Dan seems lost when it's not previously written.
Yeah. And I mean, something else that drove me fucking crazy is when the perpetual storyline that they're going through, they get captured, and Hassan is talking about how like they seem so normal for being in the perfect fucking palace, like how it's so fucking beautiful, like everything's so fucking perfect that it drives normal people crazy. That doesn't make any fucking sense because there's normal people that fucking work in there.
Yeah,
Are you telling me random fucking Soldier 76 is just fucking out of his goddamn mind because the palace is so fucking perfect? Like, that is the dumbest shit.
sure. I do love the perpetual storyline. The Alfarius part was very funny to me, but they
Yeah.
make it in. And I do think too, like a lot of this stuff is just very convenient. You know, like if you think about it, if they get caught in the palace, I feel like things would have gone very south for them if they had an Alpha Legion there.
Yeah.
So, oh, let's create a way, some very convoluted way about power encoding to prevent the Alpha Legionnaire from going with him. And then they get to meet Loken. And I loved that interaction with Loken and John Grammaticus,
No, it's not
or
Loki.
Vulcan, not
No,
Loken,
Vulcan.
Vulcan. With Vulcan and John Grammaticus was like, well, I know you, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And, he's like, I don't know whether or not you guys would be good people, which is very fair. They're not, I don't think they have good intentions, honestly.
Yeah, this whole storyline is one of those things where at this point, why does it exist? Right? Like, what
I
is
don't
Ole
know.
really gonna do?
Yeah.
He's essentially a human. He can just live, he just lives forever.
Mhm.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, why?
So there's like two sides to this story, and I feel like they landed somewhere in the middle, which was not what they should have done.
There's one more thing I want to complain about before.
Go ahead.
When the Afaris thing is happening, he also like dampens the psychers with the dampener, and he has the gun at the one chick. She's a fucking perpetual. If you shoot her in the head, she's gonna come back to life anyway. So why the fuck would she care if you shot her in the head?
It's actually a good point. I didn't even think about that.
It annoyed the fuck out of me.
So you have this like perpetual storyline, and the previous lore, right? The way it was written, or what we believe is associated to this, is some random guardsman like jumps out to protect the emperor from dying from Horus, and that's when the emperor strikes him down, right?
Yeah,
Elanius Pius was his name. So that is like it's a really cool mythical lore, right? Like really interesting, like, oh, like what a cool myth. And then they were like, okay, we're going to write the Horus Heresy. So it's no longer going to be myth. It's going to be a story, like a legitimate story. And they wrote 75 books and they're like, we're so far away from myth now. This is more documented than World War II. So, like, absolutely crazy the amount of writing that's been done. So, when it comes to that, you're like, okay, you're going to overturn the myth of the guardsman. Okay. Let's make it really like about a person struggling throughout the entire thing that goes and like a character, like a very important character. And Elanius has been off and on throughout the series.
yeah.
And what's really killing me about this whole thing is like he doesn't have any, like he has no motive that makes sense. I'm pretty sure he's decided he's going to kill the emperor now. Did you pick up on that too?
I think I have a fucking question. When the fuck was Ole and the Emperor like become buddies? Because Macador has known the Emperor since he was a fucking caveman. painting on the walls. And it all doesn't seem like he knows who Malcador like is as like an individual.
I feel like Malcador meets the Emperor after all.
But
And
when the fuck was that? Because they did it as a fucking caveman.
I don't know about the caveman thing. I think that was like I don't even necessarily know if the caveman was the Emperor. I think that was just like the first psychers.
I feel like it was he brought up so many fucking times. I don't know how it's not the Emperor.
Yeah, there's also like
I'm
the
pretty sure Dan
caveman.
just contradicted the fuck out of himself and was like, yeah, it's whatever. Like, why? Like, he should have just been like, yeah, like I also am friends with Macador. Like, honestly, they act like Macador wasn't even a part of the original Perpetual group.
Yeah. And I think the whole perpetual concept is very convoluted when you bring in the concept of Malcador, you bring in the concept of Vulcan, you bring in the concept of John, and it's just like, ooh,
Urza,
yeah.
who was killed, which makes no fucking sense because she's a Perpetual.
Oh yeah, how she was killed by Magnus.
No, from Erebus.
Oh yeah, well, even funnier too, when we think about Wrath of Magnus, do you remember that perpetual?
Well, Malcador got yeah, because Malcador, the Perpetual, died and then was given the lives from Olivia.
But Malcador, the perpetual, dies to Magnus.
Yeah,
But Magnus literally tears Vulcan apart by every atom, and he's fine.
yeah.
So I don't understand how Magnus kills Malcador. Because you would believe that Malcador or Magnuson has the power to kill perpetuals, but we were shown that that was not the case. Magnus does not have the power to kill perpetuals. So explain to me why that perpetual had to give her perpetualness up to
Yeah, what
Malcador.
happened to Olivia? She was she was just written out for no reason.
It seems like they were like, we got to do something with this
Oh
character.
yeah, we keep making perpetuals, guys. What the fuck do we do with these people?
Now, I went through the cast list on this book, and there is a character that's still active during the siege that I'm curious on whether we're ever going to see again, and that's Lumiel.
Who?
Lumiel from the storyline of Thousand Suns.
Oh really?
The-
He's on the
yeah,
character list?
no, he's not.
Oh, it's not.
But he survived Wrath of Magnus,
We'll
or,
probably never see him.
and he walks away. Probably never see him. That's so
Nope.
unfortunate. They mentioned fucking Bethuse and Erect for no reason. I'll never see Lumiel again. Who was
Where
like
the
one of
fuck
the
is
coolest
Sigismund?
characters. He's one of the coolest characters in a book that put the series on the New York Times bestseller list. Fuck him.
Yeah. Like I one thing I think this book should have done, because last time we saw Sigismund, he said, I'm gonna go fucking kill Abaddon.
No Sigismund.
No Sigismund in this book. Uh, Abaddon at one point thought he was fighting Rand and was like, yeah, I killed that bitch. And then it wasn't even Rand. But in this book, Abaddon is like, look, we gotta go back to the vengeful spirit. Horus is out of his fucking mind again. And he has two captains fighting with him. He's like, you guys don't understand. He's out of his fucking mind. All right. This is all bullshit. Your bullshit. We're going up there. Sigismund should have been there. It's like, you ain't going nowhere, motherfucker.
Sigismund is on the character list in the next book.
Well, that's good because Dan's probably like, oh, fuck. Sigismund.
That's a guy. He
That's a guy
definitely
that's
didn't
supposed to be like a
forget.
badass.
He didn't forget about the Dark Angels.
Yeah, thank God we had,
Corswain,
well, of course, Swain and
the
Zahariel,
Hariel.
who was not Cypher, then became Cypher again because he was hiding the fact he was Cypher.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clear from the cipher code of conduct.
You never unveil.
You don't take off the mask, but it seems like they're doing some like underground stuff. I never knew that Zahariel was going with Corswain. I don't think that was ever written until the siege. And which is cool. Like the Zahariel is by and far like the most interesting Dark Angel. Except like Luther is also very interesting.
Yeah.
But it's like so it's super weird. Like Typhus comes in with his Death Guard and they have the ability to teleport. and they have the ability to make you feel like you want to give up. That's basically like what it was. Like they
Yeah,
were
and
like
there's so many fucking flies.
so many flies. Every time I talk about this, they're like, we literally can't move because of the flies. I'm like, that's an absurd amount of flies. Like they
That's
would win
insane.
every time. Like there's no superhuman whatever that can get through a billion flies.
Yeah.
And then they rally behind Cypher.
Yep. The existence of Cypher and bringing back the knighthood. It's so dumb. And they're protecting the Beacon Hill that isn't lit. And we have fucking Gilman just floating around in the dark, I guess. I don't fucking know.
I don't know why this is a story.
I don't either.
Like no one asked for it. Maybe there's some like old lore saying that Core Swain was there and like relit the Astronomicon. The whole thing with Zahariel and Cypher, it just kind of seems like they're trying to implant a
Well, there's a
ghost.
Cypher book that came out recently.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm pretty sure that book is probably a callback to this.
I don't think so. I think that's like 40K Cypher. Maybe I'm wrong.
But I think 40K Cypher might be Sahara.
I don't think it is. No, I don't think they like live forever. I think they pass it on.
Maybe. I don't
Maybe
I don't think Zaharo's gonna die here. He's for Luther.
Zahariel's in the next
We know
book.
Luther's in 40K.
Well, yeah, Luther, but he's like all chaosed up. He's
I mean,
juiced.
Zaharo's kind of there, right? Like he kind of sucked on that warm peen.
True, I guess. It is kind of it's a gray area.
Yeah. What
I would
else happened
say
in this book?
it's a very interesting story. I don't know why they did that. What's frustrating to me, this is what I wanted to happen. This what would have made the story a little bit better, is if course
Any
Swain ended up
progression?
what?
Any progression?
Yeah, if course Swain ended up killing Typhus.
Yeah.
That would have been progression. Because like we know that like obviously from the death of Karn, that like death isn't really death for the Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah.
So seeing progression of the siege by Typhus dying just kind of means that like lieutenants are starting to drop out. So if you're saving all of that progression for the second book, the first book feels like, okay, great, we teleported people places. It's basically what happened in this book. Like that's literally all that occurred is people moved from like one area to another. We don't get any death. Did we get any death in this book?
No.
Yeah.
Even Peck is just standing there with a bomb strapped to him.
We didn't even get the death of Bo or what's his name.
Yeah.
And that he was like literally the chapter they introduced him. He's like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
No,
Instead, Andromeda and Hassan are like getting him out.
yeah.
Also, black custodians. I thought that okay, not their skin color, their armor. Let me really clarify that. I thought that was a thing in like 40K where they're like become like corrupted or something by like the Emperor's presence or some bullshit.
No man. That's the custodians that guard like the black jail or whatever it is.
Really, I
So
really thought there was like a whole like thing that like they were like kind of turned custodians.
no, it's they're very weird looking. And like there was a
Are you
whole
Googling black custodians right now? You might have a really weird images.
do you not remember? I think this might be it. Do you not remember? You ever watch like Emperor text to speech on YouTube?
No, but I know about it. Yeah,
There they are. So basically, like once the Emperor dies, spoiler alert. Oh, shit, let me.
he's not dead. He's perpetual.
Yeah, it's gonna be a few hundred more pages. Um, all so there's a group of custodians, and they're the custodians of the guard that get all upset about the Emperor's death, and they basically This is what they wear.
But they shouldn't exist here, right?
Let's see what the wiki says. The fabulous custodies.
Body oil massages.
What did you say? What did you read?
Go back up. This- Keep going. Go back to the top. The fabulous custodians are extreme. Oh, God damn it. Go to the top. Do you understand how a mouse works? So if you're not on YouTube, you should see this. Yes. The fabulous custodians are extremely hedonistic and obsessed with body oil and massages.
Oh, I love it. That's what I'm pretty sure that's what these guys are. I'm pretty sure it's like the group. Um, I don't know. The Emperor finds the Custodes to be utterly disgraceful as they spend more time lubricating their abs. Or as Custodicii admits each other's abs, than putting their skills to good use at serving the Imperium at
Like all the
large.
shadow keepers, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think they're the Shadow Keepers.
Custodes, shadow keepers. Yep. I'm gonna look at the official wiki. Wardens of the Dark Cells are our shield hosts, so they did with custodes, the stalwart guardians of the Emperor of Mankind, blah blah blah. All right, yeah, I guess they're around.
Yeah, the Black Custodes.
Yep.
And like, oh my gosh, like there's this whole fucking storyline about Bo and like how the Malcador's people want him, but then the custodians want him, and so they're doing internal politicking. Like as soon as the emperor disappears, and I get what Dan's trying to say. Like literally, the emperor is what's keeping this all together, but also that doesn't make a lot of sense because the emperor's been on the throne for like months,
Years.
years. He hasn't done anything. And I think maybe Dan's point is maybe it was Malcador keeping all this shit together, which makes a lot of sense. I totally get that. But it's like really immediately, like the Emperor's
I
dying.
just don't even understand why Bo's a character. We know this weapon doesn't amount to anything. There's a whole fucking 40K universe of Space Marines. So obviously that shit either doesn't work or it doesn't happen.
Yeah, or like there's some like estranged 40K storyline where somebody has possession of it or people are in search of it.
That no one gives a fuck about.
And there's no way that that'll ever happen because as soon
Nope.
as the weapon is released, Games Workshop can't sell Space Marine models anymore, and that would be really
Exactly. No.
depressing.
It's a pointless storyline that I don't even care about. I didn't even remember who this motherfucker was. He's from like a short story anyway.
He's from a short story?
I think he was like originally introduced in a short story. I mean, he might have been in a book. I don't know.
I
But it
thought he was
wasn't.
introduced here in the Siege.
He might have been
What's his name?
Bo. Something Bo.
Oh,
Geneticist. Step in like Bo Siegitera. He'll probably figure it out.
I'm just gonna look up. It's Bo Fowl or whatever. I don't know. Another character, dude. I'll tell you what. I'm still very upset that we haven't seen anything of Lucius.
I am. We maybe we'll get him in a fragments.
He does not show up on a list. There's no Emperor's Children. I think it's possible that at this time Warhammer or Games Workshop was like, let's move away from Slanesh. I think we backed ourselves into a corner with that one. Okay. What's this guy's name? What's
Yeah.
this dude's name?
What the fuck is it?
No,
I'm like googling it. I can't find it.
I'm having a hard time. Did they remove his existence?
I mean, probably.
Officers, principals, custodians, the chosen of Malcador, sisters of silence. Oh my gosh. Is he
Maybe
not in
it's
the next
like
book?
the
That'd
last
be
page,
so annoying.
like an other section.
I'm looking.
Yeah, I just pulled up my
Death Guard. Okay. Basilio foe. Basilio foe. Here we go. Lexicon. Basilio foe. No, he's introduced in Saturnine.
Oh, all right. I don't know why I thought it was in a short story. So even then, why the fuck do we care about this? Why is this a character?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't want to read the rest of it, but I kind of want to know what happens to Basilio.
Well, we'll know soon enough in like a month. Because that's how long it's gonna take us to read the next book.
Probably gonna take about a month, guys. I'm warning you now. We're gonna have a special next week,
Yep.
and then I think after that we'll start hitting the book. Maybe we can do it in 3 weeks since we have a week off, but we'll see. We'll see how it
Well, a
goes.
week
Those
off of
days.
having to record.
Yeah,
Sometimes we slack during that week.
sometimes we do. It's a little, but I think honestly, when it comes to storylines, there's really not much more. The other thing I can think of is the fact that Horace is not dumb.
Baby.
Well, he has a whole moment in the book where he's like, they thought I was stupid. I was pretending to have dementia, but I don't. I'm like, wow, you fooled the shit out
Fulton,
of me.
get over here. Write down my heroics.
Oh, this is gonna be real fucking funny when they find out. I don't know shit about Olton. They're trying to make Horus a chaos god called the Dark King.
I don't
Okay,
get it.
all right, that's fine. I mean, like, not interesting to me. Like going like obviously he doesn't become a chaos god, and if he does at the end of the third book, it's just because GW told Dan we want to sell a Dark King model. It just
Yeah.
doesn't. I guarantee you, the Dark King comes out. I think I've already seen. I haven't watched it, but I was like scrolling on YouTube and I saw. I don't even. What is this YouTuber's name? There's a YouTuber out there that is really big on like potential future releases of 40K models, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, guys! Volume 2 of the End of the Death revealed the Dark King. What this could mean
Contract.
for 40K's future." Yeah, that's it. That's his name. I'm like, fuck. Are you kidding me? Did they just like insert some sort of change into the Horus Heresy so they can introduce a model into 40K? Is that really what's happening?
Look, man, he's a 2-up feel no pain. 2-up invuln save.
Fuck. Well, shit. Let's introduce him. I gotta buy him now.
700 strength. 12 attacks. AP 6. Damage 6.
Ignores invulns.
Oh, definitely.
Ignores armor saves.
30-inch
if you roll
movement. His wings.
if you roll a 6 to hit, explodes 3 times. Roll 6 to win, converts to mortal wounds.
As a stratagem that also just makes them win the game.
1 CP.
Two, yeah, so I was gonna say 2, but one's probably more accurate.
But don't worry, they start with 0 CP.
So it's balanced.
So I've been so much more into the concept of collecting what looks cool because the balance of that game just got so absurd during the beginning of 10th.
I haven't played in so long. I have so many world leaders I still need to put together and finish,
Yeah.
but I just haven't had time.
Speaking of world eaters, can we talk about how Corn,
Corn?
how Corn is attempting to sway Rogel Dorn?
I don't get it. It's a very random Primarch for him, I think. Honestly, I feel like the best I was thinking about this. Like, what would be the best Chaos God for Dorn? And I came up with Zinch.
I think it would be Nurgle.
I thought Nurgle's just too popular for all the fucking like books. There's too much fucking Nurgle. There's no fucking Zinch other than Thousand Suns.
Yeah, like Zinch never shows up. Never gets talked about.
No, and you know what Rogodorn does? He's a motherfucking thinker. He thinks out all the fucking possibilities. That's Zinch.
Yeah. Or you could say his resilience is very
He ain't resilient. He builds resilience.
sure. Born is an interesting choice, but like he's basically in this desert, and I'll tell you what, this story is like weird. I can tell, like obviously, like
They had to
basically,
get
it's
rid
like
of Dorn somehow.
yeah, we have to like remove Dorn from the scenario, so let's put him in a desert because that's where you put all characters you need to remove. He'll be back whenever he can like be used in the books and be used in the storyline. But the cool part about this is like the fucking voice actor for the audiobook killed it in this scene.
Yeah.
It was so cool. I was driving. I was like, kind of like, it was like 3 hours of listening to audiobook. And this scene comes on. I'm like, oh shit. Like that was pretty good. I'm like, I got a little, first time I've gotten chills in this book was mainly because of the audiobook, the reader. Who reads
John
it?
Keaton.
Who?
John Keaton.
Fucking badass. Nice job. What else has he done? Anything we know?
He's done all the books.
He's done all of them?
Yeah.
He has ups and downs.
Yep. I will never forget him trying to be a little girl.
Well, thank you.
Please don't stab me. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was a rough.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, he's very very good, and the fact that he can keep all his voices together, good for him.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's impressive for sure.
One
And
thing
then
I want to talk about, I made this joke too with you. There's this whole thing with Sanguinius like knowing the vengeful spirit so fucking well, and it's because like, Horus like showed him the way. Like he walked them through. They fucking skipped through the halls. First off, everyone should fucking know the vengeful spirit by now. All right, there's
yeah.
blueprints.
Well, there's multiple things to talk about here, but yeah, absolutely. Blueprints, number
We have
one.
blueprints.
Like
We
they
have
should be stored in Terra. Like everyone should have studied it.
yeah. There are crown drawings
Let's not
all
forget about the crowns.
pointing in which direction to go to Horus.
They did use magic marker. The Space Wolves did use magic marker on the Vengeful Spirit. We should all know to follow the magic marker.
And yet, like they act like Sanguinius is like this like fucking goddamn genius. Is like turn left at this corridor. Yeah, man. The right goes to like the bathroom. We got it. There's a sign that says exit. We're following that sign.
I never really thought about there being bathrooms on like
What else
the.
are the janitors gonna clean?
Well, I mean, it depends what legion. Like janitor on a Death Guard ship's got to clean fucking everything.
Yeah,
But
those guys have a. I really hope they're unionized.
Emperor's Children, that's a rough time. But like, yeah, I mean,
Night Lords.
do you think that Space Marines have like large bathrooms? You think there's like bathrooms that are like Space Marine only?
Nah, I bet they just piss in their suit.
Yeah, but
I
they always wear a suit.
they're always just pissing and shitting on themselves. And then you have the soldiers like, man, that shit's gross. Like, I'm gonna go piss in the toilet.
You think that's just an interesting question because no bathrooms ever come up. So you think I also wonder if there's like robot do they just like cut out paying for servitors and then like what about the mechanicum? Some of them still have to pee, right? I would imagine that's like upgrade number one. Like don't worry about sustenance.
I
But
would imagine. But I mean, maybe the servitors was going around shitting themselves.
do you think that like there's like a low like on Mars, for instance? Do you think there's like a low class, like, oh, okay, like here's like the poor people's shitter because the elevated simply create sterile cubes?
Man, I bet you like the high class like mechanicum just have like a filtration system where they just piss in the tube and it comes back and right into their mouth. It's like the South Park episode where fuck, like Kyle's dad moves to San Francisco and he's like just farting and smelling his own farts. Like that's how I imagine what's going on. And then like the other like normal Martians are just fucking pissing in the toilet. Like, what the fuck is wrong with those guys?
I would imagine that like they don't need sustenance, but you would the most of them have brains. So like you have to have some sort of sustenance. So I don't know. That's interesting. Like how do I don't know if ever all of them have a tube in which they just put it back.
Take a shit and it just chops it
Jesus
back up right to the mouth.
Christ. You just see the fabricator general just like one tube that he holds all the time. He's like everyone's like, damn, that's like the best upgrade you can possibly imagine. That dude's so efficient. I just wonder about bathrooms now. I do. I think it's kind of.
Not enough bathroom talk.
Do you think there's like in the 30K universe and 40K universe? I would like urinals.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like insanely different height differentiations to urinals, or do you think they're like, fuck it, that's way too complicated. Everyone uses stalls.
I mean, I think they're gonna like the ones that like some like sporting events. So there's two ways you can go about this, right? It's either the trough or it's all the way to the ground.
You think that they trough it in 40K?
I bet they trough it.
Like, I'm not talking a war zone. I'm talking Imperial Palace. You think it's just trough
Imperial Palace, no, it's the urinals that go all the way down.
all the way down. It's like
Yeah.
giant urinals from ceiling to floor. Doesn't matter how big
I
you
mean,
are.
how high are the ceilings? You know, like how tall is a Primark? 12 feet.
Yeah.
So normal start is about like 10 feet,
I don't know, probably smaller. I think they're like 8.
8 feet. So you're probably looking at like 14-foot ceilings. So it doesn't gotta go that high.
Yeah. Now you think now what this is my
I mean,
theory.
you gotta remember it has to be waist down. So it's probably like 6 feet tall. Nah, not even 6 feet tall. You could probably do 4 feet tall. Urinal down.
This is my theory. You ready?
I'm ready.
I think for women, it's still just stalls, right? Because like
Well,
I've
yeah,
never
because they don't
female
believe in women's
started
space.
or anything. No problem, right? All the males get dick sucking machines, right? You just walk in the bathroom, you say, I gotta go. It fucking clips on. And then that's
Oh, it's a double. We're getting double fluids here.
you just you just stand there and it just takes care of it. It's all attached to that's definitely what the mechanic
Maybe
is
everyone
doing.
just has a catheter and they just dump bags.
That's exact the Mechanicum has done the dick sucking machines on the walls. That's what their bathrooms look like. And you know, you know for a fact that the Imperial Palace has dick sucking machines. They're like, listen, we've got to make this quick. Out for security purposes.
Everyone's just like, damn, that's a good bathroom.
Jesus Christ. I'm ready to get back out there.
I am so full of energy right now. It sucks you and then gives you a line of coke at the same time.
Like, there's no way that Astartes don't like have to pee. They have to.
Yeah, I mean, it talks about like how like they have like a filtration system that is like it recycles their piss.
Oh yeah, that's right. It does talk about that.
Hell yeah.
And, and Graham did say they were equipped. So my opinion is they've got some dick sucking stations. They got some dick sucking stations on the Vengeful Spirit, man. And that's what Sanguinius knows about. Secure the dick suckers. Right around the corner, Hall 5.
Look, we make sure as we're raising the castle, get all the dick suckers. All right. We still got some Emperor's children up there. We need those.
That means we get to pee and our opponents do not. And we have to go form a line. We're defending the hallway. Everyone has 13 seconds for the dick suckers, and then we're out.
That's ridiculous.
That's what I think. That's what I think. I think that's why Sanguinius has the upper edge. He knows where the dick suckers are.
That might be it. All right. Well, I guess that's fucking part 2. That's the dick sucking. Because I'm pretty sure what Dana's doing with GW right now. Please. I hope he's going to pay handsomely because these books are not good. Well, this book. Maybe part 2 is really good.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've been seeing and hinted at, is it's not.
It's probably not.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. As always, though, hit us up on Discord. You find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. Email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube at the Heresy Lodge. Buy our merch next week. We got a special. We got a year in review. What actually is New Year's Day? Is that a Sunday? Monday?
What is the what?
New Year's Day?
It is a Monday.
It's a
So
Monday.
it will come out on the 30th.
Yep, 30th. So that'll be our year in review. I'm sure it will be high spirited. There's no way we could possibly complain for a whole year, right?
No, not at all. There's been some ups.
Yeah, maybe. I'll see what books we've read this last year. There were some good ones.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about those. We'll talk about everything. You guys have a Merry Christmas. If you do not celebrate, hopefully you enjoyed whatever holidays you are celebrating. If you're not celebrating anything, enjoy some fucking Heresy Lodge because god damn it, we're good.
Maybe get a drink.
You deserve that. All right, guys. Have a good one.